Look, I hope you guys are doing extremely well this evening. As I promised, I was going to do a shot. I just managed to get one in there tonight as well. So look, it's not going to be a really, really long show tonight. I'm just doing an hour tonight. Give you your time back as well. So look, tonight is a different sort of show. I've done enough speaking for everybody in the last couple of days. This show is your show. This show is up to you tonight. You ask your questions, you debate it out in the chat. This show is about you tonight. So look, get in there with this amazing community. As I'm going to say, get into this fantastic community. We're definitely not the smallest anymore. We are not the biggest. We are getting to the point where we are becoming a sizable channel, and look, that is because of you guys. You guys make the channel everything it is. So look, get in there. If you are new to this channel, the only thing we ask is, look, we don't mind the banter, got no problem whatsoever. Just be respectful to the chat, be respectful to the mods, be respectful to the community, be respectful to me, and be respectful to yourselves. Otherwise, the ban hammer comes out, and absolutely, they do, Scott. They come here for me and you, buddy. And of course, Dina and Nikarutsu as well, absolute legends of the chat, and nobody as well, becoming a bit of a legend on this channel as well. So that is the first thing to say, really. And the second thing to say is, I'm not a dictator of this chat. The reasons why these shows take so long, we did a 2-hour show last night, pretty much because I read out as much as I can all of your chats. So look, this truly is a channel. If you really want a channel that speaks the truth, if you want to go to a channel that doesn't bullshit, we don't lie, we don't talk about, crap, we're pretty much clued in as well. So look, get into this amazing community. So where do we start off with tonight? Look, it's going to be a continuation from this afternoon, really. I want to know your opinions on Carrick. Look, he's not officially been announced yet, but it is going to be Carrick. All week, I wanted to talk about even the debacle on the interim coach as well. An interim for an interim manager, I think is a ludicrous thing. And look, I'm asking the question tonight. Get in your opinions on this, Nikarutsu legend. Get your opinions in on this, right? Where do we go from here? The way this club is carrying on from the manager to the way, and again, transfers are starting to be spoken about. Gallagher is back on the scene today, and remember where you heard this first, weeks ago. It's going to be Conor Gallagher or zero. So the transfers are talking, the spin is starting as well. So as soon as Carrick is going to be announced, they are trying to push it as far as they possibly can. It is going to be the 13th tomorrow, nearly halfway through this month, nearly halfway through this window on this club as well. So look, what I want to ask the question tonight, really. So again, look, this is your show tonight. You lead me. We're halfway through a window. This club is on its knees. This club is more on its knees than a porn star. This club is on its knees and getting absolute. This club is on his knees, getting absolutely destroyed more than a Bonnie Blue. We are making a Bonnie Blue look like like it's a walk in the park. It's carnage. It's absolute carnage. And there's been a positive. Talk Sport. Let me give you an example. There was some Wally on Talk Sport today, a match going fan, and you guys know on here how I feel about the match going fans. Utter respect for the match going fans. A fan is a fan is a fan. Doesn't matter if you go to matches. Doesn't matter if you watch from your home. Doesn't matter if yesterday you supported Arsenal and today you don't. Look, a fan is a fan, right? But big up to the match going fans, right? And this channel is about opinion. It's about you getting your opinion in. But you've got people calling up Talk Sport or Talk Shit now, talking about how the management are doing really well. it isn't their fault. They need time. And this is and look, I want to know those opinions, not because I want to call them out. I want to know what you think. I want to know, do you think it's people like me just being miserable? I'll get. Do you think it is, Sir Jim's right? Do you think we need to give this management time? Do you think that they've made us worse? I think that we've got worse. I think we've gone backwards. But look, that's just my opinion. So I want to know about your opinions. Let me know about the Brighton game. I want to know your opinions, and to bear in mind, Brighton pretty much had half a team out as well. So where do we go? Man City, Arsenal. Where do we go from here? So look, get in your opinions. I'll go all the way right back to the chat. Early bird catches the worm. The gammon was spectacular. You missed a cracking dinner. Don't rub it in. Gammon, egg and chips. I got garlic bread and tandoori chicken. Oh, grotty. Could be better with some gammon. Wait, you're eating. I'll let you guys get into that. You guys can chat amongst yourselves. We've got some food chat in there. Got some food chat in there. Food chat in there. Food chat. You guys are yeah, guys. Please like, favorite, and subscribe. Yeah, and Scott, this is what we spoke about last week. And again, I'm gonna add that to the list as well, right? So Gallagher to Villa. We spoke about this as well, Scott. We said that it is disgusting how Gallagher will go to Aston Villa. I mean, what are we doing? As a woman, I don't think I've ever been called a legend before. Well, there's always a first time. There's always a first time. So Gallagher to Spurs. Look, if Gallagher goes to Villa or Spurs, it is just an absolute F up. Selwyn is back on. Selwyn is a legend. Maximum respect, John. Maximum respect to you, my friend. No Villa. Romano confirmed it. I thought it was Spurs. I thought I read Spurs. It was on Sky Sports. Villa and Spurs, and now after a potential loan signing, Gallagher is better off at Spurs. Slow Sports News wouldn't listen to that shit. Romano said Villa are favourites. Even all, Bonnie who, never heard of her, I swear, says Herbie. Yes, I read Romano saying to Spurs. I see him post a few hours ago. He said Villa. For real, United relegated within the next 5 years. And look, Roger. Those are the opinions I want to hear tonight. Like, I want to hear the both sides, right? Are there any positives, right? For the last couple of days, it's doom and gloom, right? I want to seriously propose, how do we turn this around? Because look, it's going to be so easy for us to bring this chat down, and tonight we are going to go through it. I want to know the both sides of the coin. How do we fix this? As fans, and I think it's only fair that I should engage in that chat as well. How do we fix this? Like, how do I put my money where my mouth is? Right? I moan and whinge and complain, but instead of that, how am I going to fix this? And look, I'll go through it. Sir Jim is a plonker. Glazers are ready to sink this shit once and for all. Recruitment team has been put on the gardening leave. 34.7. Look, it is a ridiculousness, right? 34.7 is nothing. You could probably do that deal over 2 years. I don't think they'd expect it up front. You could put 15 million down. Piece of piss. Absolute piece of piss. JBE's look, it is absolutely despicable. Absolutely despicable that this club will now go, well, we couldn't make it. They have now got the perfect excuse to make no signings at all. The boss has come in, there's no time to do deals, even though this fucking recruitment team has had since the summer to do deals. Has had the summer. I've been saying this on here. We've been saying this on here that these cretins will not do deals, and it just annoys me. just makes me angry that the fact that the Gallagher deal is there to do 15 million quid. Put it down. Pay it off over 2 years. 17 million pounds. Put it down. And the reason is because we are broke. Man United cannot be fixed like now because the board are confused. So we're not going to get a midfielder. What the hell is going on? Under 21 should start rather than the first team is not trying. In Boomer back, exactly. Charles says United, Ferguson team always had a player like Park or Sunji. These could spring for the whole 93 minutes, cancel the season and have an effing break. That's how I'd fix it right now. Dave the Red says, I went to a match the other day. It was sad day, usual, but United fans always care. Great show, JB. Thank you, my friend. Can only imagine how City and Arsenal are going to embarrass us. The problem United have is not a coach, it's the board. I truly feel that this is the end of the game. Carrick is insane for taking on the interim job. The money is great incentive though. I'll get through the chat and then I'll tell you what I want to know. What does the end of United mean to you? And I'll give you my opinion as to what I think the end is. The midfielder will be getting is likely come from our youth academy. Nobody is going to come here until we appoint a manager. We are rudderless with no vision. Roger says there's only so long something can decay before it dies. I don't mean to be negative, but what the manager now is going to come to United, what a decent player comes equals Rovers. I will lock Sir Jim and Wilcox in a room together with a line loose in there, and that would fix it. Goldbridge will sort it all out. Fuck. Goldbridge. Oh my fucking god. Are you being serious right now? Fucking Mark Goldbridge. Oh my fucking god. What the fuck's he gonna sort out? Mark Goldbridge is gonna sort it all out. Seriously, this isn't the channel for you. If you think that he's gonna sort things out, look, this. I promise you, this is not the channel for you. Yeah, this is not the channel for you. Mark the Ego, Goldbridge, Aura, but it was great seeing Shay Lacey. Mate, Dave, the Red, Shay Lacey, absolute star. The one thing I do want to say, with all the doom and the gloom, Carrick, the interim coach coming in. Gallagher now off to Spurs. The shit on the field. One of the positivities that I wanted to bring, Shay Lacey. What an absolute shining light. Shay Lacey, what an absolute shining star. Shay Lacey, what a player. I'll just to lift up the mood a little bit, right? I do want to say this, like Aiden Heaven, whoever brought that lad in to this team, make him the head of recruitment, right? Shay Lacey, bringing him through. What a player! These are the players that we need. These young, hungry players. So if there's any light or any chink of light through this season, it is not the performances on the pitch. It is not the senior stars. The glimmer of hope, as it should be at this club, are these youth players. The Lacey's. What an absolute joy. I mean, you just watch him play, right? Shay Lacey were an absolute joy. Just the last couple of games, if you can take any positives, and it's not the draws, it's not the losses, it's not the fact that players are off to AFCON. Shay Lacey, Aiden Heaven, brilliant, absolute fantastic. He said his aura, that's how deluded this. He said he has aura, that's how deluded this got. So Goldbridge reckons he's got the aura to fix this club. Wow. End of United for me is getting relegated to the Championship and getting stuck there for multiple seasons. My definition of the end is Tottenham level mediocrity for many more years to come. Magnus says hi. Hello Magnus, hope you're doing extremely well. Jack says where do we go from here? And look, I will I will answer that question as well. Let me get through it. Goldbridge ain't even a proper United fan. He's a bellend. Can't stand the guy. Goldbridge used to watch him. Now he is full of himself and egotistical. Although my son loves watching him stressed out, he's useful for one, I suppose. I need a player like Vitinha. We need to get rid of old rusty engines. He's got as much aura as an umbrella in a tornado. my aura, my ass. So look, let's talk about, and I think that's a very, very good question that was asked. Is where do we go from here? Look, I don't have the answers. I've got an opinion on it. Where do we go from here? There are two scenarios where we go from here. Number one is the Glazers will still be in charge, which they will do. Sir Jim will still be in charge, and these Pratts are still going to be here. Now, what we've got to hope, the only thing that we can hope here is that Sir Jim is a businessman, right? Now, the only thing, and this is not a positive, I do not support him. He is an enemy of this club. The only thing that we can hope is luck. We just got to hope that he's gonna have to see through Wilcox and Omar Barada. Like, he's gonna have to start to listen. You know, for us to be a relevant club. And look, the one thing we've got to do as a fan base, and this pains me to say this, right? Every season, I expect us to win a league. I expect us to be in the Champions League. That is because of standards. I expect standards. I don't expect us to do it. I just expect some standards, right? For the time being, and it pains me to say this, and this is why I said before the Brighton game, I expect us to win, because I don't want to let these players off of the hook, and they prove me right. Is that if this continues as it is, we're in serious danger of going down. And I don't say that as a clickbait. I don't say that as a to be extreme. If this continues as it is, and this gets worse and worse and worse and worse, there is only one way that this goes, and I'll explain that. Is because, as you guys have said on here tonight, the less competitions that you're in, the less cash that you've got, and we're in debt up to our eyeballs. Don't forget that interest rate on that loan is going to get higher as well. We're going to earn less and less and less cash because we're going to have less home games, less league money, and we will not attract the players. And the players that we have are not good enough. Darren Fletcher, for God's sake, said it, that these players are, some of them are not United players, and they're going to have to go. Look, we are free falling, and if this continues, we will fall, and we will fall hard. And if we're so blinkered to think that it can't happen to us, it can happen to us. If we think that it can't happen to us, you know, if you look over the years of teams that have won European Cups, a Forest, Nottingham Forest, people of a certain age won't know that Forest used to be a dominant force. They won the European Cup twice. Aston Villa, you know, Liverpool for a little while. Look, Liverpool have never been in the same state as us, right? They might have had mediocre players. They've still won things here and there. But they've never been as bad as this. You know, there are teams that you think can't fall. You know, Arsenal. Look, and again, Arsenal, I think because of their form right now and because of where they are in the league, they get away with it a bit, right? They've not won the league for 23 years. They've never won a Champions League. You know, look, and look, this is no disrespect to Arsenal, and Arsenal fans now are riding high, and they should do. They probably are going to win the league. But Arsenal used to win leagues all of the time. Like, Arsenal fans forget this. They've never won a Champions League. They've not won the league for 23 years. You know, and we're going to fall lower than that. You know, if this continues, within 2 or 3 years we could go down. It is that bad. We've got a ground that is rotting. This new stadium, which I despise, by the way, is not going to be built for at least 5 or 6 years. There's going to be no cash available. Now, alternatively, let's put a positive spin on this, right? I will read through your chat and then I'll put a positive spin. So that is the doom and gloom bit, right? I will get onto the chats, but I will tell you there a positive way that this could end. Let's have a little look. Let's go through all this. Herbie says, can't believe how many managers like Delone Shaw have been through, yet they're still in this team. Unbelievable. I honestly don't know where we go from here. I'm past the stage of getting excited for new managers. It's the same old cycle. Nathan says we need Ruben Neves from Connor from Athletic, but the owners won't do it. Nathan, Neves, 15 million. Go and do it. Go and do it. Neves, go and do it. Go and do the deal. Go and do it. Like, literally, if I had the money, I'd go buy him. I would tell them, you know, I've bought you this player. You can pay me back £1 a week. You can, look, go. I don't care how this club goes to buy him. Go to Klarna, go to where, offer £1 a week. Just go and get him. Just go and get him. We need the Glazers to pack up and sell to rich Saudi owners and take INEOS with them for us to even chance of recovery. Danny Legend, I hope you're doing extremely well, my friend. Skylar says we need both INEOS and the Glazers to leave if you want to go anywhere as a club. The Beefcake says Neville, a rat, should be sacked immediately. Just get me Valverde and Neves and I'll be happy. You should do a collab with James from the Gooniverse. Look, I am happy. I'm happy to do a collaboration with anybody, but they've got to want to do it with me. You know, I am up for doing a collaboration. And look, you know, I have no problem with like having a debate with somebody, no issue at all. But the problem is that they're going to have to want to do one with me, and people don't seem to want to do it. My son's third kit arrived today with Ahmad print. He hasn't even taken it out the bag. Doesn't even care anymore. He's 11. The team being this bad, and look, that is how upsetting is that, right? How disgraceful is that, right? Is that your son, 11 years old, won't even put his top on? I mean, that is heartbreaking. Absolutely, it is just ridiculous. It is so heartbreaking to hear that you look when people talk about this game, right? There are levels to this game, right? You know, we got players who are millionaires, you know, who got their mansions. And when they're on that pitch, you know, you've got kids. You know, yesterday you had Aaron, right, and he took his son. Like, it devastates me. Like, it's absolutely devastating that you've got children. And look, I've got 3 kids, right, and it's devastating to me that, you know, you've got these young kids who idolise these players, and these players can't even perform. Crazy. The Beefcake says, I heard Roy speaking highly of you in the channel. Really? The Beefcake, really? I would love to see that clip, mate. I mean, you know, it would be interesting to me to hear what people think about the channel. But look, look, the only thing that matters to me really is what you guys think. It really is important to me. Look, I do this. I never thought in a million years that this channel would even get to 10 people. It's testament to you guys that give me the time of day and give each other the time of day as well. Look, if people talk about this channel in a positive way, look, it means that you guys are doing something right. Black Kit is the best one this season. Once this stadium stuff begins, there will be even less investment in the team than there is now. Beans and Toast, United will finish in the top 10 this season. Away and third kit are my favourite. Shame they're not all worth wearing. Hate United. I remember when it was 78 and they went down to the old first division. I watched Ruben Neves in Al Hilal versus Al Nassr. Damn, he's still got skills. United need this. It's quite 15 million. I mean, go and do the deal. I mean, what are you even thinking about? Go and do the deal. Ridiculous. Arsenal are a bigger club than us. Look, Arsenal are no, they're not. They're not, Kevin. Arsenal are a relevant club. Are they bigger than United? Not at the moment. No, they're not. They're not. And look, that's not me being an idiot. They're not. But doesn't mean they won't be. United are going to start contracting. In the next couple of years, United are going to start contracting. My boys have the away kits each with Fernandez and Cunha, and then the third kits with Ahmad and Imbermo. Nice short hair, mate. Always have a 10 out of 10 shirt on. Thank you, Griffers. Nice shirt, mate. This is legendary shirts, by the way. I've just been playing games. Arsenal. To be honest, mate, the ground is bad, but not as bad as everyone says, but does need some work on it. Arsenal have never gone a season where they didn't win back-to-back. That's how shit we are. They get back-to-back second. Arsenal will probably win loads of trophies next year, to be fair. Look, and they probably will do, because guess what Arsenal now have? Leaders. As much as we criticise Arsenal, right? And look, Arsenal have become a little bit of a banter team. And look, I'm this is just banter, right? But what cannot be denied about Arsenal, and again, when you and their fans are not all of them. Again, I don't blame fans, and it's not all of them, right? When they're sat there going, "I'll take her out. I'll take her out. Get him out. I'll take her out." Oh, he's right. The board had a vision. The board had a vision. They backed him, and testament to the Arsenal board, they backed him. And look at what's happened. If Arsenal win the league this season, I'm telling you now, they will go on to win more leagues because they will have winners. They've got winners already. The only thing Arsenal, the missing piece that they are missing is the Premier League. Once they've won the Premier League and they know how to win the Premier League, it's game over. It means that Liverpool can win it, Arsenal can win it, City can win it, maybe Villa can win it. We are not even in that conversation. Chelsea as well. Like, these are teams now. So Chelsea are not having the best of seasons, right? But they've got the appetite, they've got an owner, and they are eventually going to get it right. We have slipped so far down the pecking order. It is not even funny. Can we trade Ugarte for Neves player for player, pound for pound, total bargain? Arsenal have lost out to better teams in the last 3 seasons. They have the best squad this season. I wish we were Arsenal and our fans are shit. I said insult to Neves. Got to sell the package to convince them. I would never wish to be in Arsenal. Rasta says, honestly scary to see that great club can actually die. No fun bantering at this time. And Rasta, this is the most annoying thing. Rasta, mate, I absolutely respect you my friend. Absolutely respect you. Liverpool fan, Rasta. How bad is it? Right, look, Rasta, respectful, my friend. I do not mind the banter, legend, right? But that's what. How sad is it that we've got Liverpool fans, respectful, Rasta, respectful guy, can't even be bothered to banter us. That is how irrelevant that we've become. Is that they can't, even though we beat them this season, and look, it wasn't convincing. It was all backs to the wall. Liverpool can't even be bothered to banter us this season. You know, Ranjan says, you think they're going to spend money when they sacked the manager that called him out for not wanting to buy him a midfielder when we could have gone and got Neves at the same time? No. If you've listened to this channel before, I keep saying this, and I've been saying it from November, October, because I've been told stuff. Look, some of the things I say on here that I'm adamant on, and I've only revealed this recently, that I get information, right? The Solskjaer stuff, look, wasn't perfect, but you know, I got updated every day. It wasn't too far off. Spot on after the Leeds game that Admin was getting sacked. Fletcher was coming the next day, literally after the match. What happened, you know? And this is another information that I've had for weeks and weeks and weeks. We're not going to sign players. So when Goldbridge and whoever else were talking about signings, and we were going to sign Belaber and we're going to sign Anderson, I've not entered into that chat because I know it's total crap. I know it's been nonsense for weeks. And look, as it stands, it's not going to happen. But Rajang, I'm with you. This is what I've avoided. Look, the Semenyo stuff, right? It was laughable. It was absolutely laughable that channels were actually thinking that we could go and get Semenyo. When you think now about what Semenyo has done, has Semenyo gone to the right club? Of course he has. I mean, they won 10. Look, Semenyo. Look, this is how you know Semenyo is the right player, right? And the mentality wise, this is how you know if there was any doubts about Semenyo and his mentality, and his mentality is elite, right? He didn't moan, didn't whinge. He knew he was going to go to City. He wanted to play that game. He scored a goal in his last game for Bournemouth. Goes and plays, wins 10-1 and scores a goal. It's elite. It's elite. It's and those players push City further ahead of us, and just think we're not signing. I just cannot get my head around why you wouldn't just go and sign some players. Parado says, "Is the new stadium going to happen? The design." Look, I'll give you my very, and look, this is your show tonight. I'll try not to get too much involved in it. But look, I will tell you where I stand on the stadium. I do not want it. It is disgusting. The fact that we're having to knock down our home. Look, we're going to have to. Well, maybe we don't have to, but they plan to knock down our home. Knock it down. Not even keep it. And they want to build a new ground, not as a thank you to the fans, not because they're saying, you know, look, Old Trafford is still an historic ground. Are we going to keep it? We'll do something with it. You know, imagine if they kept the ground and said, look, we're going to turn it into a museum, right? You can go around it. You can walk around the pitches. You can see the offices. You know, that would make millions, right? And then a stadium could be a thank you to the fans. No, they're just going to knock it down. They're just going to wipe away our history and our home. For what? Some pound notes So for me, the stadium for me, I don't want it. I don't want the stadium. I would just let him go on a free and they can give him some jelly tots. I wish we had fans like Arsenal. Our fans are known as toxic fans and toxic club. Look, Kevin, look, mate, all I'm going to say on this, Kevin, look, I think, Kevin, you're crossing a line, Kevin. Look, I do not blame fans. I do not. I do. Our fans are not toxic fans. And look, Arsenal fans, if there are any Arsenal fans on here, I say this with the greatest respect, and this doesn't cover every Arsenal fan, right? But as Kevin has mentioned it, you want fans like an Arsenal, yeah? The only reason why Arsenal fans are happy right now is because they're in the conversation. You know, these are your Arsenal fans that when Arteta wasn't doing great, they were all screaming and shouting. You had AFTV standing out there, and you had all the fans going, Arteta out, get him out, oh, it's back in this, Arteta out, come on, blood, oh my God, blood, oh my God, blood, oh, demand him, oh, bloody hell, blood. Like, you had all those fans out there screaming for his head. If you want to talk about toxicity and toxic, Arsenal were the most toxic club you could meet, right? Now, respect to Arsenal board, they brought the fans back, right? Kevin, well, I do not agree with you. Our fans are not moaners. Like, Kevin, mate, you look. There is one thing on this channel I can put up with banter. I can put up with people calling me out. I can put up with people calling me old. I can put up with people calling me shit. I can put up with people calling me stuff. But what I will not tolerate and put up with is people in this club slamming their own fans. And look, Kevin, even if you are a fan, I don't call out people's opinions much, right? But do not have a pop at the fans. You know, the fans are not the fans. Look, are you saying after Grimsby, right, we're moaning? Are you saying after the last 6 games we're moaning? Are you saying that after Amarin got sacked, after Willie Wilcox, Omar Barada decided to hire a manager that plays a back three, never backed him fully, a bunch of wankers, and then proceeded to sack him after Wilcox reckons that he is the manager behind the scenes, caused absolute chaos, bought a bunch of players. We've been absolutely dog shit. We've not covered the AFCON. We've then brought in another interim coach. We've been like this for 13 years. You know, we've not won a league. We finished 15th last season. This season is going down the pan. They've written off the seasons. But no, Kevin. We're moaning, Kevin. We're moaning. And Kevin, just for that, you can fuck off. Look, there is one thing on this channel that I will not tolerate on this channel, right? Is if there is a situation where fans are abusive, fans do things in a physical way, I will never agree to that. But do not call this fan base toxic. Do not have a go at this fan base, because whether the club is toxic, that is a different debate point. The club being toxic, but do not have a go at fans. These hard-working fans that pay their money to go to games, people like us who pay a subscription. Am I and we supposed to sit here and be happy and just go, let's just blindly support? Oh, go on, Carrick, go on, because then you're supporting the Glazers. When are some fans going to open their fucking eyes to what this is? I guarantee, and look, if you guys feel the same as this, I apologise, right? There are going to be people thinking that we are going to beat a City. We're not beating City. We're not going to get a Carrick bounce. We've got an, look, if by some miracle we beat them, are we back? is this club back? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it baffles me. But the one thing I will not tolerate on this channel is things leveled at fans, because it's just not fair. Nathan says it's true. The 1958 club have a protest arranged for the Glazers in your set. Yes, Nathan. I believe it's still true. It is on the channel. I will happily support it. Look, if it's still on, and I know that it's planned, I will more than happily cover the protest. Hopefully it's still on. So hopefully, if it is on, then if you guys want me to do it, I will more than happily cover the protest. Says, I've got 4 boys, all fans. They'd rather be wearing a PSG kit. The Beefcake says, do you think we'll get relegated in the next few years? Look, let's be realistic. Before I give you the positive side, let's be realistic, right? If the slump continues as it is, right? If the slump continues as it is, and we continue to go down the slide, yes, of course. Because if you look at the points that we've taken over the last 2 seasons, it is relegation form. You know, if I don't think, look, I don't think we will, right? But we have to be aware. We have to be vocal about this. The problem that we've got is the owner thinks that we've got a top 4 side. Now, when you've got an owner that thinks we've got a top 4 side, who clearly, and he's supposedly a lifelong fan, you've got a problem. So look, if we continue on this path, it is inevitable. We're going to be a top 10 to top 8 to top 13 team. Worst case scenario, the worst case scenario that I never thought would ever happen is relegation. You know, it is. Look, I don't want to scaremonger here, because look, you know, I'm not gonna over egg the pudding and start saying, oh, we're gonna go down. Look, I don't think we will, but the fact there is a possibility is bad enough for me. The fact that there is a significant possibility that we could go down it terrifies me. It terrifies the hell out of me. So, you know, the fact that we can even enter the conversation is scary to me. Dave the Red said, United is worst we've ever seen in this lifetime. That is why I'm so passionate about the club. And what's sad is our fans still love us until the end, and those Glazers and the board need to leave now. I do agree with you completely. Frankie says, United have had their day. You've got the right to win things over teams. Kids deserve a chance. Look, Frankie, mate, this is... Look, I respect the opinion completely. Look, and Frankie, you echo the voice of many rival fans, right? You've got to earn the right, Frankie. You've got to earn the right, and this is what I keep saying to people, right? I demand we win the Premier League, and I'm going to keep on saying this, right? And it's not a demand because I think we've got a divine right. Because we haven't got a divine right. You've got to earn it, right? But the standards should be there. You've got to have standards, and you've got to have the fight. And you are completely right. Look, we have had our day. But can our day come again? Yes. Should our day come again? Yes. But we've got to earn it, Frankie. You're right. It is not our God-given right to earn a league, like to basically walk into the Premier League and say it's ours. We are not that club anymore. So you are 100% right. We have not got the right, but we've got to earn that right again. Good evening to you. I hope you had a good day. Thanks, Simon. I am doing extremely well. United could be playing midweek friendlies according to Sky. Look, Hedgie, yeah, look, Hedgie. United are scrambling for money. Look, this is how desperate it is. This is how desperate it is. And look, whether I agree or not, if it means we bed players in, if it means we get the game time, they're talking about Saudi games. Arsenal are banter. Kevin's got a point. I feel that Arsenal are passing United in a massive way. Look, I don't disagree that Arsenal are part. Look, Arsenal are not bigger than us, right? Look, whether they like it or not, whether we like it or not, right? The revenues that we create and the value of this club is bigger than Arsenal's. Doesn't mean to say in the future that we can't be smaller than Arsenal. That's a fact. The only thing, the beefcake, that I will not accept is that people calling out fans. I'm sorry. It's so look. This is what the Glazers want. They want us to be fighting and say, you're toxic. You're toxic. It's not toxicity. It is gas fucking lighting. They gaslight this community by they want you to call each other a toxic fan, right? It is gaslighting by the Glazers. Big clubs, elite clubs win the Champions League. Look, I say this all of the time. United are a big club. We are an irrelevant club. I do agree with you that elite clubs win the Champions League. Are we an elite club? No. But I hate to burst the bubble of people. I hate to burst the bubble of people. Right now, whether people like it or not, and I don't care, United are still the biggest team, which makes this worse. I'm not trying to highlight United are the biggest team because I'm like, oh, we are the biggest team. The reason why I highlight this, while we are the second biggest team behind Madrid in the world, it makes this more embarrassing. That's the point I'm trying to say here, is that whether people like it or not, we are the biggest club in England, which makes this worse. There is no way to spin this, right? We are the biggest club in England, and we are the most irrelevant club right now. We are so irrelevant, it's not even funny. And this is why I highlight that we are one of the biggest clubs, if not the biggest club in the world, because we don't even act like a Wrexham. We don't even act like a Swansea City. We don't even act like a Portsmouth, right? We basically act like the Dog and Duck. We act like some other pub name. We are a pub team being run by two of the biggest prats that you could ever meet. United have still done more than Arsenal in 20 years. It is true, by the way. It is true. Arsenal have so many fans, though. We have the beefcake. We have more fans. We have more fans than Arsenal. That's just true. I'm only 5 foot. I'm off. Let's have a little look. Arsenal will win the Champions League in the next few years. No. And look, Arsenal might win the league. Might win the Champions League. They bloody should do. And look, this is not the Arsenal stand. This is not the Arsenal channel. Look, Arsenal are good. I'm not talking any more about Arsenal on the stream. Arsenal are good. Arsenal are probably gonna win the league this year. But it has been 23 years and they've never won the Champions League. And that's all I'm going to say on it. Chelsea or Villa won't win anything for ages. Both are jokes. No, come on, look. Villa. Look, come on now. Villa. Look. Villa, I think most neutral fans want Villa to win. Are Villa a joke? No. I mean, look. Aston Villa got into the Champions League, right? And they had to sell some of their best players. And Emery's doing a fantastic job. No, they're not. They're not. Sir Ryan says, "Is this Scott Carson?" You know what? I've been called that before. I've been called that before. Hing says, "I grew up in Manchester. I lived in that city for 16 years. I feel disgusted when I see the squad entering Old Trafford. That's the most incompetent squad I've ever seen." Arsenal, who cares for me? Yeah, I'm no longer talking about Arsenal. The beefcake. I'm not talking about Arsenal anymore. I'm done. Looking at the draw, if we had won, we would be playing Liverpool again in the 4th round. I'm not talking about Arsenal anymore. Broken-hearted Spurs from the Bahamas here. Lord Peter, welcome. We don't mind rival fans. We don't mind Arsenal fans. Look, Spurs are in a very, very similar position to us. What have we got going on here? City had their beady eyes on Semenyo for a while. They'll sign him, and he scored on his debut. You don't need Semenyo. We have 3 strikers that can play also wingers. We don't have 3 strikers. You tell me the 3 strikers, because we don't have 3 strikers. We simply do not have the 3 strikers. We weren't. Weren't you telling everyone yesterday that Ollie was going to be the manager? I'm not sure insights into United can be considered. Disagree with you. Disagree with you completely. I've been giving you updates on it. And as of yesterday, Ollie was the favourite. I can only tell you what I get told. And as of this week, Ollie has been the pick. Overnight, things change, user. Things change. It's really, really funny that you've gone on an anonymous account, right? I can only tell you what I've been told, right? If you go back, the same person, okay. So you can come back on the 31st of, come back on the last day of the month, right? This channel has been saying that we're not going to make a signing this month, where everybody else was talking about it. Told me, and I told you guys before anybody else, that Amrin was going to get fired and Fletcher was going to come in. I said, watch it over the next time he come out. As of yesterday, as of the end of the week, Ollie was favourite. Ollie was the favourite. It was Ollie. And then what pushed it over the edge was basically the fact that United paid him money off, and then it was considered that actually Carrick would probably be the better choice. So I've been updated. I've brought you updates. I've told you when Carrick was going to come in. Look, people get it wrong, or the information will change. Solskjaer was very, very close, and that person and the stuff that I got told last night, I could have come live with it. Carrick was chosen yesterday. No, but the point is, who gives a shit? Who literally gives a shit? My guy, my person was feeding me the stuff. Who cares? Like, on this occasion, he didn't quite get it 100% right. He still was talking about Carrick. He was still saying 60-40. Who cares? Who cares? Who absolutely gives a shit? The fact that you care about an interim manager race. And look, it's not my fault if people send me stuff, and so far they've been right 70%, 80%. Don't blame me, what goes on in your basement exactly. Dave versus, there's only one club care about is United. Other clubs always want to be us, good or bad. Old Trafford has such a leaky roof which needs repairing. Scott Kent says, United still the biggest club in the world. Scott, we are. Scott, we are. Full kit and scarf like Jesus. What's in it? Okay, I'm going to let you guys do that. The fans are our bread and butter. They give their hard-earned money to come and see the games. I pay over 200 a season just on kits. Let's have a little look what we're saying. United fans are like concert goers. They keep everything going. Exactly. Are you sure? Oh my God, I'm not getting in here. I don't know what you guys are doing. I'll leave you have that chat. United will find the right manager. Are going to win nothing with Carrick back until the end of the season. We are got to back him. Otherwise, the club are. And look, Scott Kent. Look, Scott Kent. I admire. I do admire the comment there, my friend. Look. We are writing off a season, right? As I said, and I will not back down at all. I can't stand these players. We saw that. We saw that in these last two games. If people don't see that these players are the problem, that's on you. And I'm not saying that that's on you, Scott. People watch football in a different way. I've got no problem people blaming, liking, fine. Carrick, if Carrick can work a miracle, then that is on him, right? Carrick is not going to be. Look, I will back Carrick. Look, even if we were to lose 18-0, it's not Carrick's fault. Carrick didn't have to come into this squad, fine, but we needed somebody to come into this squad. I will back him. I do not back these players. I don't care if we go and beat City and Arsenal. I couldn't give a shit. I can't stand these players. I want these players gone. But I will always support the club. I will always support the club. I will always be happy when we score a goal. I'll always be happy when fans are happy. What is keeping me going right now are seeing the likes of a Lacey, seeing the likes of a Heaven, talking to you guys and here. Look, the most important thing to me right now are the fans, and this is what I will passionately defend fans, because if it's not for us and us having these conversations, there is nothing left, right? Sword fight is over. Wasp, they'll make it more interesting. The Glazers don't care about the debt. They don't, Jack. I do agree with you. Felix says, hi. Hello, Felix. Why did people think it was going to happen in the last game with no Shaw or Casemiro starting? They are our two best players, world-class managers. Fresh. We know Fresh. Fresh. Look, all I'm going to say, Fresh, it is your view, and I respect your view. If you think that Luke Shaw is world class, if you think Casemiro is fantastic, good on you, mate. I disagree with you. Fresh, that's on you, buddy. Let's have a look what we're saying on here. In what context they don't get second revenues? I don't know if that's for me. Liverpool are the biggest team in English football history. You need a history lesson. No, they're not. They're not. That's your view. They're not the biggest. You're confusing, and I think you need a finance lesson. I think you need a finance lesson, because Liverpool, you can argue, are the most successful. You can argue that. I would disagree with that on the basis that United have won a treble. If Liverpool win a treble, come back and we'll have that conversation. I think the treble pushes us over the edge, and I think with a treble and the things that we've won, I'll still have the argument that I think we are the bigger team. And Peraldo, you need a maths lesson. You need to differentiate between biggest and successful. United are the biggest English club right now. We earn the most money. We're the most valuable. That defines biggest. You need to have a finance lesson, and you need to distinguish between biggest in terms of size and money, and then most successful. So you need to separate out the couple of things. Glazer, no, nothing about United, and it's time for them to go and get out of our club once and for all. I do agree. Sorry, the Glazers. Kev says Leeds are the biggest football club in England. You absolute helmet. Leeds are the biggest football club in. Kev, I love it, mate. Look, I love it. Look, don't call me a helmet. I don't mind the banter. Look, there is no need. But Kev, you've made yourself look like a right prick. Kev, you've made yourself look like a right twat, haven't you? Leeds are not the biggest club in England. They've never been the biggest club in England. You absolute fucking idiot. We don't mind the banter, Kev K, but come on, mate. Make the banter at least a little bit better than that. We are the biggest. Hey up, lad. We're the biggest team in England. You're not, are you? You're clearly not, mate. Like I don't know. I don't know if you've been drinking something. Like, I don't know, Kev. What, mate? Have you been drinking petrol? Like, mate, I don't know, lad. There are a few Karens coming out of the woodwork on Facebook. Maybe they're fed up. They filled their New Year's resolution. You guys need Conor Gallagher. Yes, we do. I see City winning the league again and Arsenal bottling it. Possibly. Nicky T says Leeds. Yeah. And look, I apologise. My northern accent is absolutely awful. It's not a dig at anybody from Leeds, and I apologise for my accent because it is awful. Leo says, what was your initial thoughts as soon as you saw the Amrin news? Gutted, Leo. Gutted, mate. Absolutely gutted. Gutted, mate. Red Devil says, hi. Rasta says, you cannot edge City to the league. It's never been done. The edged Fergie, edged Klopp eras, edged Arsenal. The only way to beat City is to run away with it like Liverpool did twice. We have some unfinished business with Spurs. I wonder what made them switch from Ollie to Carrick. Look, basically, it was money. Look, what you got to understand, it was Ollie. It was always Ollie, right? And then what happened is somebody higher up realised, wait a minute, we paid this guy off. Look, if you look at the correlation between at the start of the week when Ollie was mentioned, the fan base was quite buoyed, and then you had Simon Jordan, TalkSport, us. And I'm not saying that we impact people. You had TalkSport, you had outlets basically talking about how they paid Ollie to leave and how embarrassing it would be. And it is the optics. It is United care about what people think, and that is the reason why they shifted from Ollie to Carrick. It's got nothing to do with style of play. If we're going to be realistic, right? Carrick managed a borough team, and I think they finished fourth, right? Whether I like it or not, and I don't agree, that Ollie finished second in the Premier League, right? It was going to be Ollie, right? But the reason why they switched is because guess what? Because they pay so many people off, they actually forgot that they paid him off. That's why. Ollie asked for a transfer kitty. Even Australian news yesterday reported Ollie was the favourite. JB was. And look, mate, I get told stuff. I always said on here it was Ollie, but watch out for Carrick as well. Look, people who give you news, look, I am buoyed by the fact that there are things that I've known. I've reported them to be true. Sometimes things happen, things change. You know, like who would and I'll give you the biggest example of this, right? Who would have thought after the league's game, because United had no idea that Rubin was going to come out and basically call them out. Rubin was under no threat of sack between now and June, right? Literally after the press conference, within 15 minutes, the geezer was sacked. It can happen that quickly. Thanks for the show, JB. But too much Arsenal. Get back to real team United. Good night, buddy. Hope you're doing extremely well, buddy. Carrick will be okay. Just have to back him. Our season is still over. Get the Champions League spot by finishing in the top 5. Look, Scott Kent, mate. I wish I had your enthusiasm. It's not going to happen, mate. It's just not going to happen. From what I read on the BBC, Rooney would like to be part of Carrick's staff if he was approached. Oh my good lord. Oh my good lord, Simon. I really hope that's not true. For me, United should have been shut down in 2026 after the season ends and completely rebuilt with new systems. Jim won't fix it. Every time I see that, I'm really tempted to say something, but I know my channel will get banned. Yeah. Ollie right now. Ollie, my precious. Carrick did a decent job before Rannick came in, says Leo. Granted, it's a completely different team. Lately, our players look to be so lethargic on the pitch as though they have had a bad evening at a nightclub. Boycott games. United falling down. Thanks, mate. Thank you, buddy. We need Ahmad. You see what Nice fans said about Jim. I can only imagine. Wayne says, hi. Hello, Wayne. We need Armadillo and Brian Burma. I love it. George says, there's a bit of... Thanks, George. Thanks, mate. Thanks, George. Wayne says, to be honest, I think Bruno Fernandes is the best player at United. Nothing wrong with United. Who years start United club? Who was years born? I was born in 1983, mate. To be honest, Bruno Fernandes is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League that never won Premier League. I think that's a reasonable debate. I would argue Fernandes is not even up there with the likes of a Stevie G. Stevie G is probably the greatest Premier League player that never won a league. Fernandes doesn't touch him. Let's have a little look. United is the only club that has had one manager the longest. A Helmet Award. I love it. Never won a league. Gerrard and Fernandes. It's all about youth, and we have some good players. We need to get rid of the old players. I can't see anyone signing Jan. So in the summer, I hope we'll get a few good players. I really hope so. You don't need a new manager. It's just Premier League games left. I disagree with you. We need a manager, but it doesn't matter. Leeds have always been United's rivals, in my opinion. How do you know, says Whack? I don't know, mate. Tell Howard thanks for Cantona, says Scott. It's great to finally be here. Henderson, legend, my friend. Leo said, I was gutted to see Amron go. Shows the owners want back any sort of project. Despite the absolute turmoil, they want quick results, and they're in the clouds if they think we're going to get any. Ollie has had his chance. I do agree with you. Borough is 15 minutes from my house, says Nicky T. Ollie beat Pep 4 times when he was at United. Same different. So look. For me, United is Conference League. Some time ago, Amron said, good times are coming. He has been listened to. Too much Bob Dylan. Oh, I love it. I'm 20. Yeah, you guys can have that. Get them the F out, says Callum. My boy's done his knee at the moment, so no matches for a week at least or training. Gutted. I love the goalkeeper shirt. See, this is when we had proper goalkeepers. Callum says, Connor, so Gallagher's going to Spurs, I believe, now. So Gallagher is off to Spurs, not to Villa. But Callum, Glinios out. No lie, a Fernandes fan. That's on you, mate. United need to sell Bruno so we can get some more money to buy new players. And I'm a fan. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Henderson says, hi. Nicky T. Bruno, been since his injuries, fitness is off. Champions League football may have been in the picture if we don't drop points against all the bottom teams. Who the manager going to be the right man for United? And Scott Kent, look, mate, before I go, I will come on to how we fix this, by the way. It all depends on if they're going to get money to spend, Scott. If they don't get cash to spend, it doesn't matter. If they're expecting a manager to work with this set of players and not back a coach, forget it. Forget it. Spurs, my bad. I did hear that. No, he's cool. Liverpool have won. Parado, mate, look. Your words were, and I'm not going to argue, right? Your words were Liverpool are bigger than United. They weren't. They're more successful. Your words were they're bigger, right? Factually, United are bigger. We are irrelevant. I respect Liverpool. Look, what they've done, what they've won, I respect Liverpool. But look, that is a debate for me. Look, they've won European Cups 6 times. We've won a treble. Look, you're never going to get me to say that Liverpool are better than us, right? I respect them. We can have that debate. That's your view. But you did say Liverpool are bigger, which is factually incorrect. There is a difference between big club and successful club. Yeah, exactly. If I'm a Muppet, what's it got to do with you? If you think that I'm a Muppet. If you think that I'm a Muppet, come and feel free to stick your hand up my, but get a roller or Glazer. Fernandes killing United. He saved them from. Look, Wayne, I don't agree with that, mate. I don't agree that we would have gone down without him. I disagree with it, mate. I do, mate. Same story every year. United is now small. Well, they're not, are they? Look. If you guys are going to banter, can we have some intelligent banter, please? If you come on here and go, United is small, we're not small. Like this is like, can we have some people with good banter, please? We get some good people on here with banter, and we get people who come on here and just go, United are small, they're not good anymore. I mean, come on, people. So not only are we absolutely totally crap, but even the banter's terrible. Come on. Nobody says I'm off. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Sometimes I think that Jesus Christ would have to work. Some miracles. Nobody. Yeah, you read that. City have made contact with Forest about Anderson. Anderson is going to City. He's never coming here in a billion years. 1974 was the last time that United went down. Liverpool won 6 European Cups, but remember, it wasn't for Sir Matt Busby. There wouldn't have been no Champions League. Same amount of cretins out there in forced. Yeah, like that. So look, before I go, look, what I wanted to say, look, I wanted to end on a positive note. What I am going to say is, look, the Glazers and INEOS are killing us, right? It's a fact, right? Unless they get out of this club is fucked. It is 100% done. I am not going to sugarcoat it. There is no cash left. Like I almost think fans of this club at times have a brain reset every single game. A big channel or a club will put out spin. We're going to sign this person. We're gonna sign that person. Load of bollocks, right? This club has got these fans in a snake-like grip, right? The fact that this week has been about a race for an interim coach. It is so embarrassing to me that Chelsea, for what people think about them, do you know what? At least they go by players. They may not be the right players. They may not be, right. They sack a manager and then they go and get one. They don't piss around with an interim coach. They don't bring in Dennis Wise. They don't bring in Hullet back for a stint. They don't bring in Hoddle back. They go and get a manager. They don't get an interim manager, right? They go and get a proper coach. We basically this club this week, this club list this week has gone to a new low, right? And we had Rio bigging up his big mate fucking Wilcox, talking about how he's a straight guy. He's this amazing guy. They used to room together. They used to tell each other ghost stories while they're hugging at night, right? This is the level that we've got at this club now, right? You've got this incompetence, this mismanagement of this club. You've got the Glazers that are now shielded. They don't care. INEOS, the Glazers, Sir Jim Sir Jim is one of the most ridiculously football stupid man. Look, Sir Jim is a very clever guy. Look, you don't build up a business like that, but that's business. He's a lifelong fan. He's not. Absolutely not. And we've got these people in charge of this club. Now, how do we move forward? Now, there are two ways here, right? Two ways that we can move forward. Way one is you have to move forward with the Glazers, INEOS. That is a singular way. You also have another option. The easy option is this, and I beg the Glazers, I beg Sir Jim, if you've got any ounce of human in you, if you've got any ounce of decency in you, sell the fucking club, because you are going to destroy this club. You are burning it down, right? If you've got any ounce of humanity, sell the club, because you don't care about the club. You've drained it. You have drained it dry. You've drained this club more than a porn star drains someone else, right? There is nothing left. This club is spent, right? There is nothing left for you to drain. Fuck off. Please, I literally beg you. Option one is that. Piss off. Let somebody come in and buy the club that cares, and you guys ride off with your whatever it is. Go off. Or here's a novel idea. Right now, PSR has been fucked off into the bin. Graham Legend. Is there any Mucklemeisters about? Graham Marsden Legend. Hope you're doing extremely well, my friend. The second option is this. PSR is now in the fucking bin, right? United basically have a year where they can absolutely spend whatever they like. How about this as a plan, right? INEOS, the Glazers, how about pay off the debt, right? Pay off of the debt. If you pay off the debt and you start committing to this club, then do you know what? Maybe Maybe. Nikaritsu, good night, my friend. Maybe this fan base may start to come around. So option one is you pay off the debt. You can both afford it. Pay off the debt. Then what you can then do is that will unshackle you a bit. So there'll be no more interest payments. Dividends wise, look, I could suffer 20 million pounds a year. If it meant the debt was cleared, the interest was gone, I'm not happy about it. That's fine. And then plow some money into the club. That is the only way that you fix this. Is you have to clear the debt and you have to spend. Any manager, you don't fix this club by sacking the tea lady. You don't fix this club. Who else are United going to sack? You can't sack the tea ladies. The tea ladies have gone. You can't sack Jim who cleans the windows. You can't sack the gardeners, because you fucking need them people. Who are you going to sack? They've exhausted their options. There's no one else to sack. There is nowhere for them to make some more money, and they're going to make less cash. So the only way that these guys, the positivity is this: they have to find a way to get money into this club. Now PSR is gone. Nobody, good night. The only way that this club gets fixed in a way that means we are pushing back to the top is that they've got to spend it. There is no PSR from next year. There is the squad cap rule, but it gives you a year. There is no excuses this summer. They can spend what they like. They can pump money into this club to pay the debt. That is how you fix this club. You will not fix this club in the way that it is now, and that is the only way that we get this club fixed. Look, Kingsman said we need all money. Look, that would be handy, but look, all we've got to do, Kingsman, is it's really simple. It's so simple that it's fucking stupid, right? Glazers and INEOS pay off the debt. Once you've paid off the debt and give it and give it back to the and give it back to the fans. Remove people we've got fucking Wilcox, Barada and Wilcox, Dumb and Dumber, Tweedledum and Tweedledee. These guys are they're clueless. Omar Barada was never a big fish at fucking City. Wilcox was the director at Southampton. They went down. He was there for 9 months. We need to sack these. We need to sack these idiots. We need to stop Rio from talking because I've just what a twat. And we need to get rid of these Glazers. Simple as that. So look, people, I am going to go. Fantastic show tonight. Look, I appreciate the you guys in here. Look, the only one thing I will say that bothers me more than anything else is, look, I can accept being called a waffler. I can accept being called old. I can accept, being called anything, but do not have a go at the fans. Luis Fernandez says, it baffles me that MU signed Wilcox, a guy that came from City. It's not even. It's not even funny. Regards from Amrin hometown. Look, Lewis, mate, I am gutted. I am gutted that Amarin has gone. I am gutted. This channel was a massive supporter of his, absolute supporter. I wanted Amarin to go towards the end for his sanity. Amarin to me will always be a mistake. I'm gutted. I am just absolutely just look, if you see Amarin and you know him, tell him from us that this channel was gutted. If you know anybody associated, just say to him that we are gutted. We are gutted that he's gone, and we know it wasn't him. Lauren and Hardy need to build the academy up again. Yeah, we've done that. You need the Bosnian midfielder from PSV. Yeah, I can't remember his name. Him says sack Wilcox and bring in Edwin van der Sar. Good night and have a good evening, says Scotty Kent. Amrin will get another job. Yes, he will. We are gutted, says Nikki. I truly believe he would do something. Look, Lewis, we believe it as well, buddy. We absolutely believed it. You know, I was absolutely with him on this journey. I always said this about him. Always said this about him. It was never him. It was this club. It was the Glazers. It was the toxic club. It was the players. It was Omar Barada. And look, the one thing I will say that, and again, this makes this so much worse for me, is that Ruben went out on his own terms. Ruben basically stuck two fingers up and said, I'm off and you're going to have to pay me off. So look, guys, I am going to go. Look, fantastic show. Look, I am hoping I can bring positivity in some way, shape, or form, because this is just, you know, look, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Look, guys, I'm going to go. Have a good rest of your morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Look, you guys are legends. You make this channel bigger and bigger and bigger. You look, I can't thank you guys enough for the things that you do on this channel. You do just make this channel fantastic. So look, guys, you are all legends. Appreciate you guys. That we Dina, I will. This continues. You guys have been here from the start. It's madness. It's madness. So look, guys, legends, you all. I will be back at some point tomorrow. I don't know what time I will be back, but I will be back. And we'll continue this debate. So look, guys, legends. You guys are legends. I'm JB. This is the United Devil channel. And I'll see you very, very soon. Good night and take care.